Hello, everyone. I'm Kurt Semder, and this is Marlins Daily on the Fan Arch Sports Network. And, well, they did it again. How about that game from the Marlins, who get it done once again? They return home to take on the Mariners, and in 10 innings, get the 6-5 win. And what a performance from this team once again, as Miami wins their fourth in a row. Jacob Marcy, the hero in this one, with nearly a walk-off home run, just a walk-off single, but got the job done. And look, if you've been listening to the show, you know I have not been a big fan of Marcy and what he has been able to do, or rather not able to do, over the last month or so of this season. It just has seemed like he's been unable to come through in the big spot for this team, and this time he got it done. And hopefully this is going to be the first of many times that he'll get it done. But good to see for him, good to see for the team. He got a breaking ball right down the middle, and he crushed it. Like I said, he missed a home run to right field by a matter of feet. But nonetheless, it was a walk-off single, got the Marlins the win, and that is their fourth win in a row. 14 of their last 18 now they have won. They have climbed all the way up to now 3 games back in the National League East, so they are right there with the Phillies and right there with the Braves as we get closer and closer to the All-Star break. And speaking of the All-Star break, the Marlins have now won 50 games before the break for just the 4th time in franchise history. So they are in somewhat uncharted territory, but they are doing quite well, and they'll take it right now. When you look at this game, and this was a game where the Marlins were up 4-0, and it seemed like they were going to just be on cruise control and get things done very easily. 4-0 lead. You've got your all-star Max Meyer on the mound. He's just kind of cruising along through the first 4 innings, doing well, things looking really good. 5th inning he ran into a bit of some trouble, giving up a home run and giving up half the lead at that point, 4-2. And then in the next inning, those struggles continued as he, through some walks and singles, loaded the bases up, had to come out of the game probably a little earlier than he or Clayton McCullough would have liked. But the good news is they've got Michael Peterson in that bullpen, and he continues to be just a sensation, a revelation in that bullpen. He comes in that bases loaded jam and manages to get out of it unscathed, not allowing a single run, and kept the Marlins in front. So Peterson continues to excel. The problems from there, though, and we're going to get to them in a minute, but the bullpen kind of just couldn't hold things and kind of fell apart, which is what we've started to see more often. They give up 3 runs, and it becomes a 5-4 Seattle lead all of a sudden. Those 5 unanswered runs by Seattle made it seem like perhaps we're going to see the Marlins of old, but nope, didn't happen. And that's because Heriberto Hernandez did it once again. How many times has he done this now? I mean, he steps up in a pinch hit role and blasts a game-tying home run. Clayton McCullough pushing the right buttons here, once again, picking the right pinch hitter for the right spot. We've seen him do it now multiple times, most recently with Griffin Conine in Colorado. This was the right call at the right time. Hernandez comes through big, ties this game up, and the Marlins were able to get the game to extras. They were able to make sure and keep Seattle from scoring in the top of the 10th, and then they got the job done in the bottom of the frame. It all ties up to a team that is playing with more confidence, believes they're never out of any game, and put it all together, and they are just winning ball games. And the fans, those who are there, enjoyed a Marlins win. Would love to see more fans coming out to the ballpark and checking out this team right now, the way they're playing. Maybe that'll change when we make our way towards the second half of the season. Who knows? You know, as we sit here, though, as we talk about it, one of the big things that I was just mentioning and talking about is the Marlins bullpen. And again, we've started to see in the last week or so some issues with a bullpen that up until that point had really been strong. And, you know, Pete Fairbanks has had some issues in the closer role to the point where some have started to discuss whether or not he should be out of that role. Well, Fairbanks in this game for the first time in quite a while didn't give up a run. So we'll give him his credit there, but he's got to do a little bit better than that. You have a guy like Michael Peterson, who I mentioned, has just been really, really strong. And he's just so valuable because he can get out righties and lefties in a big spot. And he's somebody that I think Clayton McCullough is going to turn to a lot here over the next course of the next couple of months. But then you have certain guys in this bullpen right now, whether it be Calvin Fauché or John King. You have guys who had some good runs but are starting to run into some trouble. Perhaps the scouting reports are catching up to them. Not really sure what exactly is going on. They're just not hitting their spots, or the hitters have figured out what's coming next. But whatever it is, the Marlins bullpen is starting to run into some issues. And no matter how good your starting pitching is, if your bullpen is going to give up leads and they're going to keep teams in games, like we saw in this matchup yesterday against Seattle, or like we saw, in Sunday's game against the A's, where they nearly coughed up an 8-run lead. These are issues that you'd want to kind of nip in the bud quickly, and it might be something that Miami needs to address come the trade deadline by picking up some extra help for that bullpen, perhaps. But you also need your starters to pitch deep into games, and you need them to try to help out by limiting the bullpen games. Don't want to overwork these guys at this point in the season either. So definitely something to keep an eye on going forward, making sure that this bullpen is rested and effective. Otherwise, the team's going to have to do something to kind of help that out when we go forward here throughout the season, find a way to improve the situation for them and put Miami's pitching staff in the best situation to succeed. Speaking of the pitching staff succeeding, something that we said yesterday turned out to be true here. Max Meyer replaced in the All-Star game, as we expected. Meyer is pitched in this game, and then he is scheduled to pitch again on Sunday, meaning that he is ineligible to pitch in the All-Star game. No exception given, no issues there. There were several. Paul Skeens out, Jacob Mizorowski out as well. Same situation. Pitching on Sunday, can't pitch in the game. I was hoping that perhaps they'd replace Marlin for a Marlin and put Sandy Alcantara in the game. Instead, it's Jesus Luzardo starting for from the Phillies, because the Phillies need another All-Star. Why not throw another Philly into the game? Yes, I know they're the host team. Yes, they had a nice first half. They're in second place, and okay, whatever. There's Phillies, Braves, and Dodgers everywhere you look in this game. So if you like those teams, this All-Star game is for you. We'll talk a little more about that next week. But I feel bad for Max. He's had a great season. And again, he'll get to take part in the festivities. He'll get to be out there on the field. He'll hear his name called. He'll get to wave to the crowd. He just won't get to pitch in the game. And it's not a huge deal. You want him pitching in regular season games. You want him healthy for the rest of the season. You definitely don't want to risk that in an exhibition. This isn't like we talked about with Yuri Perez and the game the other day as far as keeping someone healthy. This is an exhibition. This is the whole thing. It just would have been nice for him. But he'll get the recognition for what has been a fantastic first half of the season. And he'll get one more start to wrap up the first half on Sunday. So either way, Max Meyer not going to pitch in the All-Star game for the Marlins. So if we want to see one of the fighting fish on the field in Philadelphia at the All-Star game, it's going to have to be Otto Lopez, and I'm sure he's going to be out there for a while, and I'm sure he's going to be out there for at least one at-bat in this game. Well, as we wrap things up here, we look ahead to what will be the second game of this series, at Miami looking for their 5th straight win, looking for yet another win at Lone Depot Park. Tyler Phillips actually getting the ball in this game, which makes me think perhaps Jensen Junk is on his way back from the injured list a little sooner than we expected. He might actually pitch possibly as soon as the third game of this series. We'll have to see. But if Tyler Phillips gets the start, he's going to be taking on George Kirby in the second game of this series. Definitely a pitching matchup that I think favors Seattle, but that's never stopped the Marlins before, so we'll see if they're able to get the job done once again. Hopefully, it won't be as dramatic, although it was fun to watch. But, maybe just if you get a 4-0 lead, hold on to it, make it stand up, and give everybody a nice relaxing win. that would be something pretty nice at this point. But for now, still, like I said, great start to the week, great start to the homestand. Could have been a disaster if you blow that 4-0 lead and lose that game 5-4. But some late heroics by some players who, in Heriberto Hernandez's case, has come up big in the past, and Jacob Marcy, who needed a big hit in the worst way and got it done. So Marlins started the home standoff well. You want to finish the first half of the season strong, and this was a great way to get that all started. We'll see how they can do on Wednesday night and look ahead to the rest of the series and the rest of the week when Marlins Daily is back with you tomorrow right here on the Fan Arch Network. I hope to see you then. Have a great day, everybody.